Hello and welcome to Maths with Jacob. This lesson will focus on fraction of a number. This lesson is a continuation of the previous video. We will learn how to find the fraction of a number without using concrete materials. Let's start with a half of 16. We divide 16 into two groups, so that's a half of 8 plus 8. We're interested in one of those groups, which is this one. So a half of 16, that is a half of that total, equals 8, because we're only interested in one of those numbers. Example 2, a third of 9. The 3 tells us we're interested in three groups, so which is a third of 3 plus 3 plus 3, because they equal 9, so that's still 1/3 of 9. The 1 tells us we're interested in one of those groups. That's why the answer is 3. Example 3, a quarter of 12. The 4 tells us that 12 is divided into four groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 1 tells us we're interested in one of those groups, which is this one. And that's why a quarter of 12 equals 3. 1/6 of 12. The 6 tells us that 12 is divided into 6 groups, so it's 1/6 of those 6 groups. The 1 tells us we're interested in one of those groups, which is 2, so 1/6 of 12 equals 2. 2/3 of 12. The 3 tells us that the 12 is divided into three groups. Remember, all of these groups are equal. The 2 tells us that we are interested in two of those groups. So if we take that one and that one, that's a total of 8. And that's why 2/3 of 12 equals 8. 3/4 of 28. The 4 tells us that 28 is divided into four groups. Each group contains 7. The 3 tells us that we're interested in three of those groups. Hence, 3/4 of 28 equals 21. 7, 14, 21. 4/5 of 50. The 5 tells us that the 50 is divided into five groups, so each group contains 10. The 4 tells us we're interested in four of those groups, 10, 20, 30, 40, and that's why 4/5 of 50 equals 40. 2/3 of 60. The 3 tells us that the 60 is divided into three groups. The 2 tells us we are interested in two of those groups. 20 plus 20 is 40. So 2/3 of 60 equals 40. Example 9. 2/5 of 30. The 5 tells us that the 30 is divided into five groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 2 tells us we are interested in two of those groups. 6 and 6 are 12. So 2/5 of 30 equals 12. Example 10, 3/4 of 36. The 4 tells us that we are interested in four groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 3 tells us that we are looking at only three of those groups. 9, 18, 27. So 3/4 of 36 is 27. Example 11, 3/5 of 40. If we divide 40 into five groups, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups. We are only interested in three of them, which are those groups there. 8, 16, 24. So 3/5 of 40 equals 24. And finally, 4/5 of 5. We're interested in five groups that make up 5. Well, each of them must be 1. We're looking at four of those groups, just 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4/5 of 5 equals 4. So we have just seen how to work out the fraction of a number without using concrete materials.